Hello, I'm here today with Penny Green, Chief Executive of SAUL, and a member of both Trusteeweb and PensionWeb. Penny, this is a unique position you find yourself in, both a practicing trustee on the one hand, also a pensions manager. It's not surprising that you are one of the group that Tony approached when we first launched Trusteeweb a couple of years or so ago. And how do you feel that it's going?
I think that it's been slow to take up, but I don't think that should be a surprise. PensionsWeb was quicker, I think, because pension managers do meet each other in conferences, meetings, and the trustee community is actually much more disparate and has fewer opportunities to meet, although that is changing. So I think that from that perspective, because you're looking at a very much more disparate group, you're not getting the word of mouth recommendation that you got with PensionsWeb. It's bound to be slow. I think the other side of it is that certainly, and that came across when we were talking to trustees when we were developing Trusteeweb, is that trustees do feel perhaps a little nervous of putting their thoughts down for all to see in case they're speaking from they say something that's not sensible or displays a lack of knowledge. And that, I think, is something that will come with time, and what you need is time. It's certainly something that I encourage all of my trustees, both at SAUL and also I'm chair of a very small pension fund, encourage the trustees of that pension fund to do, because I think that like with PensionsWeb, this whole sharing of information in a safe environment can be a very powerful tool. So I encourage it, and I just think that it's going to be a longer process to get this community working as effectively as PensionsWeb does, but because the constituency is different and the communication links within that constituency are different.
My own experience as a trustee and also as a consultant to trustees over the years is that the average trustee board consisted of a vocal group and a passive group. Often the lay trustees or the member trustees didn't say very much, but one always felt that they were watching, listening and making their mind up. And I get a sense on Trusteeweb that the same thing is happening. Would you agree with that?
Oh, completely. And I think that you can see that there are conversations taking place. And whenever I try and participate in a conversation, I do try and keep it to trustee matters and forget that I'm a pensions manager. Because if the conversations become too technical, if they become quite complicated, then what you will do is emphasise to the lay trustee that actually, this is an area that's really quite complicated, and I'll watch, but I won't participate. What you see at trustee meetings now increasingly is good chairs are encouraging and in fact requiring all members to contribute to discussions. And so I think you end up with perhaps a virtuous circle as lay trustees are being encouraged to contribute more at trustee board meetings, so they will contribute more once they feel confident at Trusteeweb.
Perhaps one thing that we could suggest is that a member trustee or lay trustee who is on Trusteeweb should consider inviting other lay trustees from his trustee board or committee on the basis that if they're both on, then it might help their confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this word of mouth thing is the best way of getting more people on, and lay trustees encouraging other lay trustees, be they with their own scheme or another scheme, to participate, to ask each other questions. And I have heard, well, I'm not a technical person, but it's simple things like, our consultant came up and said we needed a risk register, and we ended up with 40 pages of stuff. What does your risk register look like? This is over the top. Would we be paying him too much to deliver this for us? Or is it right? I mean, can we share a risk register just so that we can... That kind of conversation, that's not technical, but that's about helping you. Firstly, if your consultant's given you 40 pages of risk register, is that right? or is it not? And that gives you an opportunity to challenge your consultant, which is always great. And secondly, you can share ideas, because actually when you look at the two, you could end up with something that's a synthesis of both, but is much smaller and therefore more manageable. Or maybe 40 pages is right. But you've got an external person that's dealing with the same issues, not in a technical way, but you can bounce ideas off each other and come up with a better idea. And that's not driven by professional trustees, it's not driven by consultants, that's driven by you, lay trustees, looking at it collaboratively. And that's the power of PensionsWeb in the trustee environment.
Right. Well, you've heard Penny's views on Trusteeweb, and we hope that you will encourage your fellow trustees also to join and benefit from this community. We look forward to seeing you again soon, Penny.
Pleasure.
Thank you.